My assistant Jen is going to help ask some questions in hopes that everyone understands a little bit more about dog preventative care.
Dr. Kennedy, what is considered preventative care for dogs?
Yeah, so this is implied that the dog is otherwise healthy and we're working to prevent disease. So things like vaccinations, routine testing like heartworm testing, parasite testing, annual blood panels. These are kind of the core facets of preventative wellness included with your annual physical exam performed by a veterinarian. Those are the main focuses of our prevention.
What information does my veterinarian need to know about my dog's lifestyle before providing preventative care recommendations?
Yeah, so things regarding your pet's lifestyle at home are going to be really important. So making note of their eating, drinking habits, their urination and defecation habits, also their energy level, what kind of activity they do. Are they a dog that's out hunting? Are they a dog that sits on your couch all day? Are they traveling to other parts of the country or out of the country? That's going to determine what kind of diseases they're exposed to. So all of that is going to be really important, as well as their interaction with other types of animals, dogs, cats, wildlife, you name it. So all of that is going to be something that you need to disclose to your veterinarian, and you can talk about how that will affect your prevention for your dog.
What recommendations will my veterinarian make when it comes to my dog's preventative care plan?
Yeah, so there's several things. First and foremost, at home, we like to take our dog's dental care very seriously. For some dogs, this will mean teeth brushing. Some dogs, this is not a possibility. But if you have a new puppy at home, exposing them to toothbrushes, flavored toothpaste, getting them exposed to having your hands near and around their mouth will be really important and will help be productive later in life. And that ties into also our dental care here in the hospital. We like to provide typically middle age, but also annual cleanings in some cases. A lot of those are anesthetized procedures. Kind of next on the list will be parasite prevention. So monthly heartworm, flea and tick prevention are really important, and also annual heartworm testing is important to make sure that we're negative while we're staying on those preventions. Then kind of one of the last facets is maintaining a healthy weight. This is going to be crucial, especially in large breed dogs. They are prone to mobility issues, joint issues, and keeping them nice and lean for the remainder of their life can be one of the biggest components for longevity. And there's actually been studies that's proved that a lean dog lives an average of 2 years longer. So making sure that they're staying fit, active, their mobility is intact, and that will play into their feeding habits. So making sure that we're feeding a high quality diet and an appropriate calorie amount. And I think that the misconception out there is all about volume of food, but really it's just like people. It's making sure that calories in and calories out is important. So those are kind of the main facets that we talk about when we talk about preventative care.
Can you tell me a little bit more about microchipping?
Yeah, so microchipping is something that's been implemented a little bit more recently, but it's really important in making sure that we have a good connection with our animals. The microchip is a small microchipping device. It doesn't actually give you typically a GPS location of your animal. All it does is scan a specific number that can be read here in a hospital with a specific scanner, and that is connected to a database that has the client or the owner's personal information so that they can get in contact with them. Microchipping is typically done at the time of spaying or neutering. It can be requested earlier. It's a little bit of an uncomfortable procedure, so we like to do it while they're already anesthetized, but it's definitely possible to do it earlier, or if you're not planning on spaying or neutering, do it at a later time. But it is really important, and it's a good way to make sure that your pet can get back to you if they ever get lost or misplaced.
And what role do vaccinations play in preventative care plan?
Yeah, so vaccinations are one of our main parts of preventative wellness. This is preventing really serious diseases like rabies, leptospirosis, distemper, parvo, really nasty things that we can prevent, and our vaccinations are very effective. And in some cases, such as rabies, they're required by state or county laws. They are one of the biggest things you can do that will help your pet and keep them healthy and safe from these really nasty things.
What is the difference between insurance and a wellness plan?
Some veterinary hospitals will offer wellness plans. This is typically an annual fee that includes a certain amount of services, typically your preventative wellness things, vaccinations, annual appointments, preventions, that sort of thing. And insurance is typically a third-party company, places like Nationwide, Trupanion, things like that, that offer third-party insurance. A lot of times how that works though is that the hospital still bills the client, and then the client receives compensation after the fact from their insurance. I do recommend insurance generally, and preventative plans are great to hospitals that offer them.
How can I keep my dog safe while in a car?
You need to make sure that they're not restricting them by their neck, that it's restricting them from their point of balance in their thorax or their abdomen, and it's more of a harness type situation.
Why should I keep my dog on a leash when in public?
Yeah, this is really important. And people like to think, oh, well, my dog's good, he's not going to do anything, but it's also protecting your dog from other dogs, so that you can maintain control over the situation better. First and foremost, if your dog doesn't have great recall, you don't want him getting into someone else's business, if there's other people, children, babies, other small animals, wildlife. Secondly, dogs tend to eat things they're not supposed to, so making sure you have control over what they're doing when you're out in public in a situation that you're not in control of. So it's for your safety, the safety of your dog, and the safety of those around you.
What can I do to keep my house and yard pet safe?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first and foremost, with most dogs, the biggest complaint we have is that they eat things they're not supposed to. So making sure that garbage cans, recycling bins, pantries all have secure doors and locks on them, and that dogs don't have access to go dig through your trash can. Secondly, making sure that toys are appropriate and not going to be dangerous to your pet. We don't recommend bones or antlers for tooth, dental issues, and also that they can have shards that break off that they then swallow. So making sure that you have safe toys, and then picking up objects if your dog is prone to eating things they're not supposed to, picking up objects that could potentially be a foreign body like socks or things like that. Lastly, making sure you have a safe fenced yard, that you don't have dangerous objects outside that could result in injury. Also, some dogs are a little naughty, and keeping electrical sockets covered is also important as well.
What pesticides are harmful to my dog?
Generally, we say to avoid any pesticides. There are some specific categories of pesticides that we tend to avoid. Organophosphates, strychnine, snail bait, rat bait, things like that can be really dangerous. Although some of these products are labeled as pet safe, if there's any question ever about it, I recommend a call to the Pet Poison Control Hotline. They typically do consultations over the phone for owners, and a lot of times if your dog is brought into a hospital that we're not familiar with the pesticide, we call them. So a lot of times you can go ahead and give them a call and get an idea of what the risk level is for your pet.
What are the most common dog health conditions that can be prevented with a good wellness plan?
Yeah, so first and foremost, infectious diseases. All of those viral diseases we talked about during vaccinations, bacterial diseases like leptospirosis, heartworm disease is entirely preventable, and then also other types of parasites, intestinal parasites, fleas, ticks, diseases associated with tick bites and infection. There's a lot of infectious diseases that can be prevented. In addition, annual screenings can also prevent or at least make an owner aware of degenerative changes like chronic kidney disease, hyperthyroid, other endocrine diseases, even cancer can be picked up on these annual screenings, and at least if it's treatable, then it's treatable, but if not, we at least have ways to manage it more appropriately with the knowledge that we gain from those tests. If you have any questions regarding your dog's preventative care, please give us a call. We're always here to help you.